Happy Thursday, Keith Tebow with you. Time for our weekly visit with the mayor of the city of Fall River, Mayor Paul Coogan. Mayor, how are you today?
Doing okay, Keith. How about you?
I am doing well. Thank you for asking. There's been really a lot of movement in terms of the vaccine distribution in Fall River. I just noticed this week that there are more of our local pharmacies. I think Walgreens now has up to 5 locations, CVS 3 locations, Walmart is listed now on the state site. Um, I want to bring up to you some specific city initiatives. We've talked about how FEMA is looking to increase the number of locations. And I just noticed this morning that your office posted an opportunity at the Niagara and Maplewood Senior Center this week. So talk a little bit about how that's growing. And I think I also see that there may be some distribution at some of our schools.
Right. It's really going to start to ramp up now because of the amount of vaccines available. Tucker Street right now, there's some openings right now. If people log on, they can go over there within the next couple of hours and get a vaccine. We approved the other night at the school committee meeting, Fonzig and Laterno as FEMA sites to come in and do some vaccines, and we're looking at another location. We've obviously been having people go to our housing developments. We have people going door to door, telling people the importance of vaccines. So it's really getting busy on the vaccine front. And of course, we're still doing VCC, and I know the hospital's still been going along at Little Club. So, I mean, our numbers are now, I think we're well over 20,000 one-shot people. And hopefully, I think last time I heard it was like 15,000 had both shots. So we're going to keep going.
Something that is equally as important is the fact that there's going to be these opportunities, but what may be confusing to a lot of people, and I know that people are getting information from different sources. How are you trying to alert people of some of these new locations? I know you posted on the city's Facebook page about what's happening at the senior center. Is there going to be any direct outreach, say through the schools that may be hosting some of these vaccinations to get some of their people involved?
Yeah, we'll use any means necessary to get the message to the people. On Monday, when we go to, I think it's 16 or 18 and up, it's going to be wide open then. So we're going to be notifying everybody through media, through radio, and tell people what they have to do to get vaccinated. Our problem, as I've said from the get-go, is we haven't really gone over the top with these notifications yet because we've always been short vaccines. But as more vaccines come into the city, we would like everybody to get vaccinated, so there's no reason to put any kind of constraints on it. Just sign up and let's go.
This week, of course, Johnson & Johnson and the federal government sort of pulled back a little bit on the distribution of Johnson & Johnson. Has that impacted, from what you've seen, any of the distributions this week?
It probably limited a few of our vaccine numbers, but the other two companies that we've been using regularly, Moderna and Pfizer, seem like they're also ramping up the amount coming into the city. So I think we can be pretty seamless with just the amount of vaccines. Like I said, that's the key to this whole battle. If we can get people vaccinated and back into the system protected, we'll be much better off. But with that being said, we still have to be aware that you got to be still careful around people. We want people to be smart about this. And if you don't feel well, you can still shoot up to our testing site at BCC and find out for sure that you're not positive and you're negative, and you can resume your duties. So those are the things we're looking for. Stay smart. Don't be afraid to still get a test and get vaccinated.
And that leads me to my final question in terms of COVID this week. How have the infection numbers been? I know they're released today, but from what you've seen, have they still pretty much plateaued?
I would say that's probably accurate. It seems like the amount of people that have passed away has gone down kind of a little bit significantly here across the state. So we're glad to be part of that trend. And again, the numbers are the numbers. But the only way we're going to get out of this is if we get enough people to get up to whatever they call herd immunity, so we can keep people safe and get back to a normal resemblance of activities here in Fall River.
I want to get to a couple of school issues. Of course, school vacation week is next week, which is a good thing. But, more and more students getting back in the classroom. I know that this week. The hybrid students in grades 6 through 12 are fully back after the school vacation break. Anyone who wants to be back can be back in school. That's fantastic news. Also, the school committee this week heard a report from the superintendent about the unfortunate death of David Almond, the teen who passed away last October. His parent, his father, and his girlfriend has been charged with the crime. And we talked about the report a couple of weeks ago from the child advocate in terms of, how the school department may have, lapsed in some locations. And it's going to want to get your opinion about, the school department is going to be setting up a commission to look at this. How important is the, the entire city to learn from this going forward?
Well, you want to get to the bottom of whatever happened. I mean, when you look at the David Almond situation, it was like a convergence of a bunch of different things where gaps, and it just came together at the worst possible pandemic time we could, and it resulted in someone tragically losing their life. In my discussions, I always look at it as a pie. We have a pie, and everybody takes a slice of the pie. Some have bigger slices than others, and some have, smaller slivers. So there is plenty to go around in the wake of what went wrong with this young man, and I hope we find out exactly what happened. I've read the reports. I think we have a pretty good handle on how things led to that unfortunate situation. So anything we can do to strengthen the policies, particularly in the schools. You look at policies that we write, we never wrote them in terms of what would happen if all of the schools were closed at the exact same time. We didn't think like that. And again, maybe shame on us. I just don't know if you can anticipate what happened. But going forward, we've been through it now, and we know how to ramp up technology. We know how to ramp up home visits. We know how to ramp up contact with families. And with what steps we've already put in place, with what we get from the commission, and even some work we do in-house to refine our policies, I think we'd be hard pressed to ever go down that road again. It was, as I said, it was just a bunch of really negative things came together all at once. And it was the saddest thing I've dealt with during this whole mess.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, this week, the school committee and the city council met in a budget session, which is mandated by the city charter that everyone gets together. They sort of get an update and sort of a preview from your administration and from the school department in terms of budget needs heading into fiscal year 2022. There were some contentious issues in terms of the superintendent being there, but that aside, I know you brought up your concerns toward the end of the meeting that, there may be some concerns even budget-wise between the school department and the city side, but the city needs to work as one team. And I know you mentioned that. And I guess my question going forward is for you to respond to that. And also, how are things? Have you gotten any other guidance from, say, the federal government in terms of the federal stimulus money?
No, we haven't. I did call our congressman yesterday to find out what, if anything, he knew. This is a city. We have a city here. We have different departments across the city, whether it's police, fire, DCM, schools. Some have bigger pieces of the same pie, but we have to pull the city in one direction. That this federal money is one-time money that's going to financially change the future for our city. We have to be very smart and prudent with how we go about using it. With that being said, we still are waiting on the directions. It's amazing to me that they passed this bill back in early March, and now here we are halfway through April, and they haven't even given us the official directions on how to use the money. 5 or 6 weeks later, they voted on something. You would think it would maybe answer some questions, look at some policies, and get it out to us within a few weeks, but we're not there, so we're still waiting. And I'm hoping that the common good for the residents, the students, everyone in our city overwhelms all these issues, and we come together to put things in place that are going to make Fall River a better place to live. And that's the whole ball game that we all do every day. We just want to make Fall River safer, better place to live, where people want to live, where you can get a job, get an education, and raise your kids. And all those pieces have to fit together to make the city work. And infighting and disagreeing without, without the personal attacks is what we have to strive for. We just got to get rid of those things and hopefully get on to making Fall River a better place to live.
Yeah. All right, Mayor Paul Coogan, as always, thank you for your time. Have a good long weekend. Hopefully you'll be able to enjoy the long weekend, and we'll talk next week.
Thanks, Keith. I appreciate it.
All right. I'm Keith Tebow from FRC Media. Have a great Thursday. We'll talk again soon.